How you going, guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. Before we get into this video, I'm just going to give you a bit of an update on what happened with Cyclone Alfred. We were expecting the cyclone to make landfall on Thursday, but it did stay out in the ocean and just sat there for a while doing donuts. It did finally make landfall on Friday night, early Saturday morning, but when it did arrive, there was a huge amount of wind and it did drop a lot of rain over the next couple of days. So it did end up with over 300,000 homes without power, and the iconic Surfers Paradise beach was basically decimated and washed away to nothing. There was a lot of trees come down over power lines and over main roads, and a lot of houses were damaged. Although the cyclone is over, even now a couple of days later, there is still a lot of flooding around and still a lot of people without power. But thankfully, we're all okay. Our workshop didn't get flooded and our shelter didn't fly away. I have experienced cyclones in far north Queensland before, but I have never experienced them here on the Gold Coast, and this is a 1 in 50 year event, so it was pretty crazy that it happened. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for sending in your messages of support and checking in on us. But now we're going to get stuck into this week's video. How you going, guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. So today's job, we're going to be making some shop-made tooling where we're going to be making some adjustable pin spanners for undoing glands and pistons on hydraulic cylinders. So we do already have a couple of pin spanners, but the problem we have, the ones we buy are far too small for the work that we do. These particular ones, they do work reasonably well. You can get them in a 1/2 inch drive or a 3/4 drive, but they are very awkward to use because you've got so many parts that are trying to move on you. I did inherit one from a friend of mine, but as you can see, it has been broken many times and it is ready for the scrap bin. So there are probably other ones like this on the market, but they're not available here in Australia and it's not worthwhile to import them. So what we normally do is we make a one-off spanner to suit that particular job, but we don't want to do that anymore. So what we're going to be doing is making 2 adjustable pin spanners, one to suit the small to the medium cylinders and the other to suit the large to the extra large. These are designed to suit the glands and the pistons that have the 2 holes drilled in the face of them to tighten them and loosen them. What we're going to be making these out of is 20mm Bisalloy 80 plates, so they are going to be high tensile and very heavy duty. So I did have Troy draw up my design in SolidWorks, and then we sent those parts out to be laser cut, and what we got was the main body and the adjustable jaw for each set, and we also have a couple of M16 bolts which we will turn down into the pins. So we've got a bit of work to do before we can assemble these, but what I need to do first is center punch the hole positions. Troy did mark that out on the drawing, so when we had them laser cut, they were able to etch that location, which makes it a lot easier for setup and something I don't have to measure out. What are you...
Just wait. Present. Curtis has no idea what is in this.
Whoa, that's a holy burr. That is gnarly. That is cool. Front crane, how cool is that? That is awesome.
Aha.
The detail. Oh, that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use them.
You gotta use them.
Look
They're
at them.
designed to be used.
That is cool. So these are absolutely awesome. It is incredible what someone can do. These were actually made and sent in by Corin from Nyrock Tools here in Australia. He's actually nailed the design of the Franna crane onto each of the tools. I don't know how he does that, but it looks amazing. Thank you very much, Corin, for sending these in. I would like to keep them in perfect shape, but I am going to put them to use. Oh, I don't want to hit it.
Oh, perfect. Hang on, wait.
Doing that to those nice tools feels really illegal, like I shouldn't be doing it, but works spot on. So with that done, we're going to get our first part set up in the mill. So I've got that set up on the first location, which is the hinge point for the adjustable jaw. Now we're going to use a carbide 16mm drill to drill that hole. Now I'm going to change out to our 50mm face mill, and I'm going to mill this down 10mm, and we will do the same on our adjustable jaw. That way when they're bolted together, the two surfaces will be flush. So I'm going to mill this 50mm either side of the hole, and that will allow enough clearance. When we fit the adjustable jaw, it'll have a full range of movement. Now that that's done, we're going to move the table and get centered up on our next location. So for this position, I'm going to drill it to 14 mil using a cruz drill. Now I'm going to chamfer it and tap it using an M16 gun tap, and that's to suit our 16mm bolts, which we will be machining into the pins. So that's all the machining completed on our first main body. Now we're going to get the second one up to the same stage.
What you got? What you got? Where's your piggy? Oh, what you want? What? It's not there. Okay. You want this one? Is that it? Sitting. There you go.
So with the holes drilled, before I mill the flat, I am going to countersink this hole, and that's to suit the head of the bolt. So with that done, now we can flip it and mill the flat. So as you can see, I'm not using my broken hammers anymore. I did go down the road and buy some new Thor hammers. I also had a very generous local viewer who dropped in to drop off his own Thor hammer. So he's had the hammer for over 20 years and never used it. It is still brand new, and he wanted to give it to a good home, so he dropped it off here. So we will put it to good use. So that's the machining work completed on this adjustable jaw, and I've already gone ahead and got the smaller one up to the same stage. The next thing that we need to do is take them over to the belt sander and deburr them.
George? come back. Dad, come back.
So that's all of our plates completed. The last thing I need to do is machine up the bolts, which will make up the pins. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure the bolts are running true and concentric, and if they're out of whack, I can just give them a tap into place with a hammer.
That's pretty good.
Now I'm just going to use a center drill to drill a hole so we can use our live center to support the end of the bolt. So each of these are going to be 30 mil in length. We're going to have 20 mil of threaded bolt, and that will go through the plate, and then we will have another area that is 10 mil long, and we will machine that down to become the pin. So that's all of our pins machined. I have made 3 different sizes. The most common we find is 10mm, 12mm and 13mm. But if I do come across a different size, I can simply grab a bolt and machine it to whatever I want to. So with all that done, now we can get these assembled. So those went together exactly how I wanted them to. As you can see, they are extremely heavy duty. We are going to be able to put a cheater bar or a piece of pipe on the ends of the spanners in order to put extra pressure on them. And we can even hit them with a big hammer without worrying about breaking them, and they were designed in such a way that if we damage the pins, they are easily replaced because they are simply made from bolts. These also give us a huge range to work in. Our small spanner goes up to 200mm and our larger spanner goes up to 300, which will cover anything I've come across so far. All up, there was about $170 in plate and about $10 in bolts, and there wasn't even 2 hours of work to make both of them. I'm very happy with how they've come out, and this is going to be a great upgrade for the work we do. And I'm also going to send these out to have the tough tried treatment done to them, not to make them any stronger, just to give them a nice coating that isn't going to rust, and it's also going to fit in with the rest of our shop made tooling. So that's this job completed. Thanks for watching. 20mm Bisalloy 80 plate, follow in line with all the... Now I'm going to change out to our 50mm. Now we're going to change out to our 50mm. Oh my god. Now I'm going to change out to... Oh my god. Fuck, I've already forgotten. So for this position, I'm going to use a 14mm Cruzmill. Oh, fuck me!
Cruzmill.
Oh my god, my brain is just not working.
That looks sharp.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good for picking out splinters. It will be, actually.
Did it do anything to it? Made it sharper?
No. Try this one.
Oh yeah, did it? Hard to see. Oh no, there you can see. Nice.
Oh, it's just boom.
Try again.
Oh, you
Curtis, he forgets there's bits on the lathe that stick out.
It fucking caught me right in the leg. Fucking